Welcome to Crafting with Erica. On today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to do some DIY easy screen printing at home with some pretty basic items, nothing you can't find at your Michael's or Walmart or Target. And before I get into that, I just want to say welcome back to all of my previous viewers, to all the previous videos, and to thank you for joining for all the new people. Be sure to subscribe before we get started. So let's get started on this. First, you're going to need a plastic embroidery hoop. You can get these at any store that sells any type of crafting materials, like a Michael's, a Joann's, even sometimes Walmart. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a paintbrush, a Sharpie marker, some good old glue. If you're a kid, some non-toxic glue. I'm using non-toxic glue. You're going to need some form of acrylic paint. I'm just using your easy peasy acrylic paint that you can buy at any type of craft store. Nothing fancy, just easy acrylic paint. You're going to need some type of little bowl. You're going to need a card. I'm using a old Victoria's Secret gift card because you want to try to reuse things, and I'm going to use it for screen printing. And some fabric. You're going to want to pick some type of fabric that you can see through, like this. Nothing with too big of hole, but nothing with that's too opaque. I've seen people use like pantyhose to do it. People use chiffon. So anything that's see-through should work. And of course, you're going to have the image you're going to screen print. I just drew a pretty little flower and some things you want to screen print on. I'm just doing basic printing paper. And let's get started. First thing you want to do, take your embroidery hoop. You do not need it to be this big. This is the only size I own. You're going to take the fabric you want, put it into the embroidery hoop, just like so. Push it down, 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 down. There we go. Secure it, so you're going to tighten the screw. Then you're just going to pull it a little to make sure it's nice and taut. I personally think this is easier if your fabric is not stretchy. So if you're looking for some things around the house to be your screen printing screen, I suggest trying to go with things that aren't stretchy materials. Now we're just going to cut off some of this excess fabric. I feel like I don't have enough room here. Toss it away. Still, I want to make sure that it is as tight as it can possibly be. Now you have an embroidery hoop with a pretty translucent fabric. You can kind of see me through it, I hope. Tony, can you see me through it? Cool. Okay, so you can see me through it. So we have our top that's pretty flush to the embroidery hoop, and then we have our bottom that's concaved in. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and place it on top of the image you want to trace. There you go. Now you're going to take your glue right here. Get your little bowl and put your glue in the bowl. A decent amount, nothing like, you don't want to waste glue, of course, but a decent amount, because what you're going to do is you're going to use this glue to paint onto the fabric that you don't want to print. I always suggest take your glue and just add a little tint to it so that you can see what parts are the glue and which parts are not. Just a couple drops. 1, 2, okay, maybe one more. can also use food coloring if you want. Okay, now this is very blue. That's fine though. Now we got blue glue. So you are going to trace directly on top of this print, on top of your fabric. We're doing this because we're going to remove the drawing afterwards. You can freehand. I was thinking of freehanding, but I didn't want to freehand on video in case it was hideous. Because you never know. So you're going to take your glue and you're going to paint over all of the areas that you don't want your screen print to show through. So I'm going to paint the insides of my flowers, but try not to paint the lines of my flowers because I want those to be the parts that I can see with the print. This is going to take a little bit because I'm going to try to be really careful. All right, I think that's good. Unadhere it from the paper that it's on. So we're gonna let this dry just a bit. Let's hope this comes out good.
It's taking forever. Oh look, it's already next weekend.
Okay, we're back. So, made a couple mistakes. I just want to let you guys know what those mistakes are so you don't make them. So, when you put your glue on, be sure you're putting it on the side that's flush with the embroidery hoop. So this side and not this side. The reason I say that is you don't want the glue to accidentally adhere to whatever's below it. What ended up happening was I was getting a bunch of glued paper under it. You don't want that because what happens is the glue is gonna pull through your fabric and you really want it to sit on top of the fabric. So be sure that when you glue it, you put the glue directly on top, on the side that the embroidery hoop is flush with it. Also, I did suggest that you put paint in your glue. Be sure not to put too much paint. I put maybe too much paint in my glue. So it took the glue a million years to dry. You don't want to do that. It should only take maybe a half an hour to dry. It should not take 2 hours to dry. And it took 2 hours plus a blow dryer. Don't do it. Now we're on to the fun part. So you take whatever you want to print on. So this right here. Place it down. The side that's flush with the embroidery hoop, you're going to place it directly down onto the surface that you want to print on. I'm using black acrylic paint to print. Kind of nervous. I'm hoping it turns out well. Put some of your black paint here. Put it around the top portion because you're going to squeegee it down. You got your little card. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want the card to stay pretty flat as you're squeegeeing it. I don't even know if squeegeeing is a word. Probably just squeegee. Don't quote me on that. So you hold your embroidery hoop and you squeegee it down. Let me do it one more time. Squeegee it down. Let's see how it turned out. I hope it turned out well. Okay, so that time was a little messy. I think I may have had too much ink. But we have a flower! What? So we're gonna put it down again. Let's see if I throw some blue ink in here. What we will get. Let's do a little blue ink, maybe a little white ink, not ink, paint. Little white paint. You never know. You might get something cool. I'm just going to keep using the black side of this. I got that. Okay, just so that everyone knows, the reason I'm getting some of this outline right here is because I didn't put the glue surrounding it as much and I'm getting a little crazy with my squeegeeing method. I really should focus in on the flower portion.
Try the other side of the card. And the smaller side, maybe?
So let me see if husband's suggestion, using the smaller side of the card, a little less surface area. A little paint. Let's see how that comes out. That's pretty cute. Pretty cute. And you should be able to just keep doing this because now you have a screen that has an image in it. So you should be able to just keep doing it. You shouldn't have to redo it. And when you're done with this, just rinse out the paint while it's still wet, of course. And you have these really stampy screen prints. That's it. Some things that you can apply this to, you can apply it to a t-shirt, a bag, you can apply it to basically anything. If you do decide to apply it to something that's washable, I suggest just turning it inside out. Acrylic paint will probably last a few times in the wash. Just turn it inside out, maybe hand wash it, or look into some other types of paint that may not wash out as quickly, like oil-based paints may not wash out as quickly as an acrylic paint. Inks definitely do not wash out as quickly as acrylic paint, but play around. Thank you for joining in today with Crafting with Erica. Big old embroidery hoop. Now I'm going to have to go and put these on some bags. Thank you. Be sure to subscribe.